I had an epiphany the other day on how to best explain this for the average person. Think of the federal government as a credit card with a ton of spending power. You can pay for big ticket items, you can pay to make services happen. That's a lot of money you can work with, billions and billions of dollars. But then in some cases, though, there are some purchases that are just a little bit out of the league of the federal government. And so you have to acquire some debt, naturally. And of course, that's exactly what has happened to the extent of $35.3 trillion. And these numbers are according to the Treasury. Lots of money, right? And maybe you may be thinking at home, oh, maybe a lot of that debt was just from the past, right? Absolutely not. Most of that debt comes from recent years because the response has been, let it ride. And that is where we are at, this roller coaster of a national debt graph. Pretty interesting stuff, very fascinating, maybe also a bit concerning, but you see the numbers, right? We're spending a lot of money that we don't have. But then there's another thing you have to think about. Interest. Yes, it costs money to actually owe money. Crazy stuff, right? As is the case with us, is the case with the federal government. When you borrow money, it's going to cost you. So not only do we have a large national debt, but we also have this much to pay to maintain that debt. So yes, tax revenues paid for a lot of things, but they didn't pay for everything, which brings you a deficit. And only 4 times in the last 50 years has Congress not had a deficit. The last time that there was actually a surplus was 2001. And you will notice that presidents of both parties in their administration continued to let the debt rise. But one thing that you can't do to actually solve this problem is print more money. A lot of people say, just print more money. But that has a different effect. Printing more money, if you've taken an economics class, you know this, will only lead to higher inflation, which means that the rest of us will have to deal with higher prices because more money is out there. That is part of the Federal Reserve's job to make sure that that doesn't happen. So if that's not the solution, then what is? Simply put, spend less money, but the government has not been in a position to do that quite often. We continuously spend more money than we actually have. And so as long as that happens, we will continue to let our national debt grow. So at the end of the day, when it comes to your personal finances, maybe don't do what the federal government does and let it ride. Reporting in Toledo, I'm Jaden Jefferson.